Will Panjim ever be able to get rid of huge number of private vehicles and daily traffic congestion? The solution to sustainability of Panjim as a city is not putting more flyovers, bridges and expanding the road network, but to have a smart mobility plan and to ensure last mile connectivity. This will remove private vehicles from the city and bring in electric vehicles. There is a need to decongest Panjim of new projects such as the ropeway, etc. There is need for dedicated bus corridor to decongest Panjim. Listen in.
Today, a smart city needs a smart mobility plan, and what is lacking is the last mile connectivity. There are nice electric buses now connecting the cities point to point, but once you reach at the Kadamba bus stand, there is no end transport, and people are forced to take their own private vehicles. So this has to be solved by having e-rickshaws, and this we have seen in other metro cities. Once you get off the metro line, you can hop onto any of these e-rickshaws. They are soundless, emissionless, so they are pollution-free vehicles, and they connect you to the last mile. It will take you from the bus stand to your home. So this is a initiative which is greatly required in the city of Panjim, Margao, Mapsa. That will really help people from use the public transport and not use their private vehicles. Now we are increasing the road infrastructure and inviting more private cars onto it, and public transport space is getting reduced. So we should have dedicated bus corridors. We should have good frequency of these buses and the last mile connectivity. A lovely city like Panjim can have tram lines. They are very slow moving, emission free, and with rain and such elements also, it is very protected, very safe travel for all kinds of people, for elderly, for children, for them to go to school, for elderly to go for the shopping, etc. So this really has to be thought about it. Otherwise, having such bridges and flyovers and highway expansion will only allow more private cars and fill up our roads with more and more private transport, which is not a sustainable solution.
Get to the point that why has traffic increased such a lot in the last few months? It's actually doubled in the last 6 months to a year. The reason is that unnecessary development is taking place. For example, I've always been saying that is the ropeway which is expected to come somewhere in the swimming pool in another 3-4 months, 6 months, whatever the timeline may be. Panjim cannot handle the current traffic, and then you are expecting a ropeway to bring in revenues, and it will make a total mess of this whole area. DB Marg is already jammed, and any single extra car coming into Panjim, that will be the end of Panjim. So there has to be a rethink, and again I have been repeating, let the government speak to people who know the business, architects, engineers, town planners from the private sector. They can give a lot of ideas how this can be improved. For that matter, even Charles Correa Foundation is working on so many ideas. Why do we keep them in the corner? Bring them into mainstream. And there are a lot of activists who are also involved. But coming to your main question of electrical buses, of course it will help. It will help also in reduction of pollution. But that is not the only answer. We need to start rethinking what Panjim is made for. For example, it's going a little bit far, but for example, a place like Bhutan. Bhutan actually charges people to enter Bhutan, because that is a sort of a no development tax, because they are keeping it pristine for the future. Why can't we do something similar lines? I'm not saying such hefty entry fees, but similar lines. Anyone who comes to Panjim, pay a price for it. Pay a price for parking. Insist on parking to go into the parking center which Manohar Parrikar started. Half the time that parking center is left empty. Why is it? Let us use these spots. Let policing be strong. Let policing be also strict about, say for example, areas like this. Why are taxis coming into Panjim? Why are taxis parking in my own area of compound? Be strict with the laws. There are good existing laws, and automatically things will improve. But your main question, electrical vehicles, good idea, but all by itself it will not work.
The traffic in Panjim is completely gone haywire, and people are just keeping on purchasing vehicles now. And if you even see, we have new roads, we have new bridges, but even the new bridges are full of traffic now. If you see the Atal Setu the other day, for the last 2 days, it's fully traffic jammed because a lot of work is going on. Even our public infrastructure is falling apart. I mean, the Atal Setu is hardly 2 years old and it's already going under repairs again. So we've seen that even public construction, public infrastructure is falling apart. So the only way to actually go forward would be to reduce the traffic and to get out all the unnecessary traffic that's coming in. People are getting their own vehicles into Panjim. Why? Because we don't have proper public buses, we don't have proper taxi system in Panjim or in Goa for that matter.
Sagun Gowde for Herald TV.